Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today we're doing a quick review impressions of a knife called the Kershaw Mini Iridium. I got this as part of a pass around, so let's take a look. Alright, we're doing a long-term, or at least longer-term impressions of this particular knife. I did an unboxing and then I kind of do a review to get my thoughts on it and wrap my head around it. So what we want to talk about this here in this particular one is kind of a, review it. But I've already done a review on the regular Iridium, so this is not going to go into a lot of details. It's just, I think most of it is relatively smaller, but there's a lot of benefits, I think, there. And this particular one has some extra, it's more premium. So let's talk about it. The knife name is the Mini Iridium. The manufacturer is Kershaw, but I believe it's outsourced. It's made in China, so they must have an OEM, or they have an OEM that actually does it for them over there. The designer, obviously, is Kershaw. It's an in-house design. Here's the regular Kershaw Iridium. This particular one is the carbon fiber. It's kind of a premium one. I've actually reviewed that very one. But this is the Mini, which is an S35VN blade steel. So, smaller version of the bigger one, which, to me, adds some benefits. And I think there's some things worth talking about. First of all, the materials on this particular one is premium. It is titanium scales. It is a steel clip. I believe this is aluminum back spacer, which is typically what they do. Has a lanyard loop back here that's not uncomfortable, which I appreciate. I wish Giant Mouse would learn from that. It is a crossbar lock, which is, what is it? The Benchmade had the axis lock, and then their patent ran out, and everybody was able to do it. I believe they call this the clutch lock or something. I don't know what they call it, but no, it's not the clutch lock. What do they call this? I don't know what they call it. It's not on here. Anyways, it's a particular name. It's a crossbar lock. That's really what it is. We'll just call it a generic name. You guys, if you want to be sticklers, you can comment down below and tell me what it is. I don't have enough Kershaw for that to really be super important to me. I'm sorry. I know Hogue is, I think Hogue uses the Able lock. I think the clutch lock is actually Kaiser, and then you got the River lock, which is TRF. Everyone has a different name, right? So that's fine. What else about it? Titanium. This is belt sanded finish on the S35VN blade steel, so that's kind of nice. Has some nice brass accented or anodized hardware with the pivots and the screws. Black for the back spacer, which is a nice standoff. I think that's nice. You can get a Lynch Northwest clip, titanium clip, if you don't like this, which I've done on some other ones, which is nice. You can, I believe, maybe I'm thinking of the Hogue. I'm pretty sure you can do it for Kershaw too. I could be wrong. Boy, now I don't know. Sorry. If you can't, I hopefully will have a little note up here saying you can't. If you can, there you go. I'm just not going to have anything up there. All right. What else? Open and closing is the crossbar lock, right? So you pull it back. It has a crossbar across here with a mega spring. Opens and closes with the thumb springs. I think, you can sort of do bonus reverse flick, right? So that's kind of nice. And you can also use the crossbar lock like that besides the thumb studs. So it has multiple ways to open. I think that's kind of cool. Same way with closing. You just drop it and the action's pretty good. It's not bad. No play in here, which is good. It's nice, solid lockup. You don't have detent lash. What you have is the bar itself moves over the back part of the blade that's rounded. So you see that as soon as you move this moves. So that's not detent lash or anything like that. So that's just how an axis lock works. The blade, to me, is a drop point. Somebody might argue that's a spear point. This particular one here is, you can call it a Warncliffe, sheep's foot, reverse Tonto modified, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter. I had the same argument when I did debate when I did the full review of my version that I had. Blade, not bad. It's got a nice wedge on top. Flat grind here, pretty thin. So it's going to be a beautiful slicer. Has a nice pokey tip. Great for getting into dog food, cat food, fertilizer. Cases of water, Amazon boxes, letters. It's a great little tool. I think so. S35VN blade steel is a pretty good premium steel. It's not like what people would consider M390 20CV, but it's still a good, solid, well-balanced performing steel. Good corrosion resistance, good edge retention. Relatively easy to sharpen. So I like it. I think it's a good one. Let's do some measurements on this guy. How much does this weigh? And I'm going to compare it to the carbon fiber, even though carbon fiber is kind of unfair because carbon fiber is always going to be a little lighter than titanium, right? I'm going to guess 3 ounces, 2.9 ounces. So this knife is 2.9 ounces. This is going to be maybe a little over 3 ounces. So 1.1 ounce difference between the two. So you can tell titanium, one, makes it a little heavier, but you know, it's a smaller knife, so it kind of gets competitive. All right, comparing to the regular iridium, we're going to compare. So first one, it is just under 7 inches. I'm going to call it 6 7/8 of an inch, where the full size here is just under 8 inches, and I would call that 7. I'd actually call that 7 15/16 of an inch, just 1/16 of an inch shy. The grip area right here is going to be about 3 1/4 inches, but if you choke up, which is very reasonable to choke up on this thing, I think you have about 3 3/4 of an inch, which is pretty generous for a hand. Over here, you're going to have, right here, sorry, you're going to have 3 3/4, which is equivalent to the choke up position. If you choke up over here, you're going to have about 4 1/3 of an inch, all right? So I have large hands with big, meaty fingers. I can get it right there. It's just starting to get off a little on the edge with this, but if I choke up, I've got plenty of room, a little extra. So extra large hands with big meaty fingers, you'll have room to get on there if you choke up. My hand would be equivalent to a, this is a large hands with big meaty fingers, extra large hands with normal sized fingers, double extra large hands with thinner fingers, right? So just keep that in mind. So as you can see on the regular one, I have plenty of room, a little extra. So extra large hands with big meaty fingers, you choke up, you got tons of room. So, you know, plan accordingly. If you don't like larger knives, the Mini Iridium is a great alternative. I think it's nice. So there you go. All right, so let's look at the blade stock thickness next. Oh, we didn't talk about the blade length. Let's talk about the blade length. I forgot to measure that. So the blade length on this guy is going to be just right at 3 inches. The cutting length is going to be, looks like 2 15/16. Up here, this one is going to be right at 3 1/2 inches going to the base of the knife. Cutting is going to be 3 3/8 of an inch, right? So that's the cutting length. All right, let's look at the blade stock thickness. And I think it's a good comparison because this one's going to be definitely a little thinner. So let's look at the Kershaw one, the Mini. So what we have here is 93 thousandths of an inch, 93 thousandths of an inch. So over here, we're going to have 108 thousandths of an inch. So, I mean, it's definitely, I'm going to say at least 10% thinner, which is nice. I mean, that definitely makes it a nicer slicer. All right, so let's talk about the prices here. So I know this one was around $199, somewhere around there. This one is retailing on the Kershaw site. Now, it's the only place I could find it. I think it's a Kershaw exclusive. It's $189 right now for the price. That's their listed price. For sale, I think they say it should sell for $269. I think that would be ridiculously overpriced if they sold it for that, for a Chinese-made knife. I mean, $189 is a little bit on the higher end. Personally, I think look for sale. I think that's a better deal. Look for sale, and then, you know, that's when you should buy it. I don't know. I feel like this is a knife with the materials, everything. It's not even titanium clip. It's aluminum backspacer. You know, I feel like this is around $150. But Chinese made, maybe $140 knife. I feel like this one, realistically, with the carbon fiber and everything, this could probably be about $150, maybe $160 knife, right? I think they're a little aggressive on their pricing. That's why I say look for sale, and you can usually get close to that. Just my two cents on that. All right, so that puts both of these knives into the regular category. They're not budgets, they're not high end. So they're kind of closer to the lower end of the regular. Purpose, EDC, hard use, collection piece. They are crossbar locks, so, you know, use the right tool for the right job. If you're gonna go chop wood, blocks, and all sorts of stuff, get an axe, get a fixed blade. You do use something that's gonna be a little more secure. But if you're in a pinch somewhere, a crossbar lock is pretty strong. And I think there's a lot of benefit there. I mean, you know, people talk about Omega Spring failing. I've only had one Omega Spring ever fail, and it was a knife I took apart quite a few times, and I was adjusting, doing some things with it, and I think I caused a failure. But otherwise, I've never had an Omega Spring break from use, per se. So there you go. I mean, you know, it's your call. But I've heard, you know, crossbar is a pretty solid, pretty strong lock, and you know, it does feel like it's going to give you a nice, you know, secure grip on there. And the nice thing is ambidextrous. You notice that it has a pocket clips, a left and right hand tip up only. So that's the real nice thing. And the lock is fully ambidextrous as well. So that there's a benefit to that. So for hard use and EDC, this is a great knife. Great knife. Is it a collection piece? If you love Kershaw, I mean, these are definitely, they're not the budget realm. So I always say any budget knife is not a collection piece. It could be a collection piece. It's up to you. My collection pieces are things I carry. So if I kept this in my collection and I carried it, yeah, it would be a collection piece. Is it a safe queen? I don't think so. All right, ergos and feel. This feels just like the regular Iridium, just smaller, which is great. So if you're looking for a knife that's just smaller, something that's more reasonable to use, that's easier to carry, easier to handle, this is going to be a great knife for you. I think you're going to really, really enjoy this. And I think you're going to find this to be a fantastic tool to use. As far as ergonomics, everything's pretty nice. Nicely chamfered. There's no sharp spots anywhere. It's very comfortable. It works really well. Even for my big meaty hands. I mean, this is almost too small for me. I probably wouldn't want to carry this, but I can carry it. I could actually make this work, but I think it would be great for maybe medium sized hands or smaller, or, you know, large hands with thinner fingers, what have you. I think it would be a great sort of alternative. As far as all the finishes on here, everything's nice and rounded. It's comfortable. It's kind of like when we first did the unboxing. It is consistent. So I like that. I think that's pretty cool. Overall feel, opens and closes nice, just like an axis lock would. Or crossbar lock, right? We call this a crossbar lock. And I think this is, I think it's great. So I can't fault it. Now, as far as fidget factor, I think we're going to try to see if I can remember what I gave the original Iridium. I feel like it's the same, right? I do have bonus flick right here. It's not the best, so it might be a little bit less, where on the bigger one, it's easier to get to right there. So it's obviously going to be, bonus flick is going to give it a little extra. This is a little more challenging with this big swedge up here. You don't really have a great spot. Thumb studs and the axis lock works great. So I'm going to give this a, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Yeah, so I think a 4 out of 10. I don't know. Let me try it. All right, maybe I'll give it a 4.5. 4.5 out of 10. It's not really a full 5. It's a 4.5 out of 10. And then as far as fidgety goodness, I think if I'm going to give it the 4.5, if I give it the extra half, this is going to be a 95. It's going to be a solid A. If I give it a 4 and we don't even consider the bonus lock, I'm going to give it 100. I think it works exactly as you want. Thumbs ups are great, easy to operate, easy to open and close, good action, super reliable. I like it. Is it recommended? Absolutely. Now, mind you, this is, you know, grain of salt. The Mini works great for smaller hands. The regular one that we already talked about, it's going to be great for larger hands, and I think it's a great knife. I gave it a very favorable rating. I think the Mini it's just a great alternative for a smaller knife. So that's my thoughts on there. Love to hear your thoughts. Love to hear what you think about it, you know, get any feedback from you guys. Hey, if you found this content fun, interesting, worthwhile, or informative, would you please consider hitting the like button down below? And if you've already hit that like button, would you please consider also hitting the subscribe button? Subscribing and liking the channel really helps me out. It allows me to produce more content, do more things, ultimately do more things for you guys. So thank you. Thank you to everyone out there who watches the channel, enjoys the content, is part of the whole community. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. If you haven't already, hit that notification button down below so you can be notified of future content like this and other videos. And a big shout out to my channel members. I appreciate you guys. You do 2 amazing things for me. You encourage me by just being there, being the members that you are. I don't do this full time. I'm part time. So you encourage me, kind of like a workout buddy, when I don't feel like doing it. So I appreciate that. 2, because of your generosity with your memberships, you allow me to do things way sooner than I ever thought I could be able to do. Also, you allow me to have the weekly giveaways, check out knives that I otherwise wouldn't be able to afford to ship because some of them are expensive to ship. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you so much. As a small way for me to say thank you, I do 2 things for my channel members. I do a once a month exclusive members giveaway. That's above and beyond the weekly budget banger giveaway for everybody. It's just for the channel members, and it's not just a budget knife. It's usually a knife between $100 and $300. It's a nicer knife, something hopefully you would enjoy, you know, to win or to give as a gift. And then the second thing is, I also, for brand new channel members, typically it's brand new channel members, it could be others, I like to send you a channel sticker and a little thank you note. So if you became a brand new channel member and you're currently actively a channel member and you haven't asked for a channel sticker or received a channel sticker yet, email me with your name and address. I'd love to mail you a channel sticker and a thank you note. That goes out to everyone there. So if you were already a channel member or were a channel member before and became a channel member again, but you're actively a channel member right now and you've never asked or received a channel sticker, email me with your name and address as well. I'd love to mail you a channel sticker and a little thank you note. I really do appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate everyone out there. Thank you. If you haven't already, check me out on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Again, that's on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.